Well, my jokes about not having assistant coaches anymore, I'm going to have to leave those in the dumpster. The Blazers have hired 2 assistant coaches. Chicks are going crazy.
Not one,
There's no
not
turds
2.
here.
Not 1, but 2 assistant coaches. And I'm going to go ahead and lean on in the paint Sprague on this one because I've never heard of either of these bros before, but I'm assuming they've coached.
Yeah.
The Blazers have hired 2 coaches to help Chauncey Billups this year. How long until one of them's the interim head coach? Follow-up question. The 2 guys that they hired, Nate Bjorkgren. Am I saying that right?
I think the J and the B are kind of together.
The J is silent.
Bjorkgren?
Bjorkgren,
I
Yeah.
think.
Bjorkgren.
Yeah. Bjorkgren. It's
Bjorkgen's a cooler
It's Norwegian, I think.
name, to be honest.
Bjorkgren.
Bjorkgen's way cooler. Nate Bjorkgren and Chris Fleming are expected to join Chauncey Billups' coaching staff in Portland. Bjorkgren has been an assistant with the Raptors and spent a season, I guess, as the Pacers head coach. Fun fact. And Fleming had a prominent role under Billy Donovan with the Bulls.
Yep.
Is that encouraging?
Because those Bulls were great.
And stops with the Nets and the Nuggets. What do we know about Nate Bjorkgren and Chris Fleming?
Kind of retread coaches that have been around the game for a long time. Danny had it on Bjorkgren of he's kind of been in the background of being hired as this guy.
Oh, okay.
Fleming, look, if these guys haven't been head coaches, I'm not one that's going to pretend that I dive into the assistant pool waters very often.
What are their strengths and weaknesses?
But, for years you'd hear about Adrian Griffith and Griffin, how good he was, or Darvin Ham, and then they get hired, and then they get fired.
Yeah.
They're about as good as the current roster that they're helping coach is what it is.
Fair way to put it.
Bjorkgren's interesting. Pacers fans don't have a lot of kind things, I think, to say about him.
I do not remember that era of Pacers basketball at all.
That era did not go well.
very forgettable.
Did not go well.
It was actually bringing up a couple of the quotes from that time. It was an article from BleacherReport.com saying he didn't come in a relationship-building way, in a very easy way.
He was an
from
a-hole.
day one.
He was an a-hole.
Or, he's not a D. He's just completely out of his element as a leader, another anonymous quote said. So not quite.
Yeah, yes.
But yes, he is.
Yes.
34 and 38. He was fired after 1 year.
He was very unliked. In fact, go look at the tweet from Woj, and you will see the Pacer logos that are like, have fun, good luck.
Typically, younger coaches bring a more positive, spirited, encouraging behavior, not an antagonistic approach, said an assistant GM. Sounds like that antagonistic approach is what Bjorkgren's baseline is.
It is a little bit of reputation.
Okay.
Fleming, I don't really have much to offer you on Fleming. It said that he was with the Bulls last year, because I think that should tell you all you need to know. The Bulls were not good, and they didn't care to keep him.
Yeah. He said he had a prominent role under Billy Donovan in the Bulls and had stops with the Nets and the Nuggets.
What I'll say is they had to fill these chairs.
You had to hire assistant coaches.
And you were never going to get the best assistants in this situation.
Because you have a lame duck coach.
Precisely.
Yep.
So there's really nothing more to add context-wise other than
Touche.
you hope that Bjorkgren's not a D-bag to our young stars and, scares them the hell away. And you hope Fleming can offer some of what maybe he helped with Billy Donovan and Kobe White.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Kobe White. Yeah.
Kobe White was a good player.
He had a really good role.
I still think he should have been comeback player of the year, or NBA's most improved player of the year, instead of Maxey, because we knew Maxey was going to be really good this year. But I digress. You just hope that he helps the development of Scoot in maybe the 1 year that Chauncey is the coach.
Well, since we're on this train, I'm just going to go ahead and continue it, and we'll get to the college football stuff coming up next segment. The Blazers hiring assistant coaches has distracted me. Have we officially stuck a fork in mock drafts? Are we done? Is mock season over? Do we still care about mocks in the next 3 days?
Yes.
Where are we on mocks?
Well, me personally,
you personally,
I'm cooked.
You're done.
I'm tapped out. I've read all the mocks. I've heard all the podcasts. I've seen the blurbs.
You got it all down.
I'm done. It's just, unless some trade is reported, I don't care that you've changed. It's like a 40-year-old virgin. I'm going to make your gray pants blue. I don't care that you made your 5th pick the 8th pick now. You're just tweaking for clicks. The mocks are what they are. People are going to do what they do. I'm done. The draft is in 2 days. It's Monday. I'm out on it. Again, unless I hear something interesting or that it comes across my timeline
that I haven't seen yet or
I've
whatever.
I've consumed enough. We all have our opinion. It's like the election. Is that debate on Thursday going to change anybody's opinion? No.
No.
So kind of what's the point other than like we're both embarrassed in different ways? I kind of feel this way about mocks. We like who we like. We've decided who we like, who we maybe don't like. What the Blazers do is up in the air, certainly. But I think most of these mocks now, they're just slightly different versions of themselves. I'm out on reading them.
We have another Gavoni Woo one, by the way. Sorry, Schultz, I'll let you jump in. They had, because you just told me how much you care about mock drafts, I'm not going to give you the mock draft that came out this morning. They had the Blazers taking Donovan Clingan at 7, who we've talked a lot about, with, again, the preface of, I don't think he's actually going to be there at 7, but if he is, it's really exciting for Portland. And Jacoby Walter, who we did an interview on last week.
So that's not unchanged. I believe those were the picks last week, which is why we did a Baylor hit on Jacoby Walter.
Yes.
The Clingan one, here's what I'll offer on Clingan that I think we've echoed it maybe in different ways, but I'll add to it. Another consecutive mock with him, being at 7, which is debatable if it will happen. They clearly really like him. I don't know what their board looks like. I don't know who number 1 is. I'd be hard-pressed not to say he's number 1 on their board based on especially that mock, because that mock has a tie into the front office.
Yeah.
And so if they keep saying, like, if he's there, they would be thrilled, I think that's directly coming from the team, and I'm in. I told this to Danny in the last Jack Ramsey's. He is big. He's massive. He's going to set screens. So, yeah, maybe he's not this 7-foot jump out of the gym center, but he's big. And he played in a great system with a great coach. He's a professional already. If they like him, I'm in. We know DA's not long for here. My take is they're going to trade him at the deadline. You might be able to capitalize on his value at that point. You're going to need a center, right? If you trade DA. It seems like he might be 1B, whatever you want to say it is. That seems to be what Donovan Clingan clearly is to this front office based on just their mocks.
Yeah, a lot of smoke.
Can you, I don't know, what's the value of mocks outside of 2 weeks before the NBA draft or NFL draft? Just clicks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just because I got ADHD and it's really hard to parse all that info repeatedly, I just stick to a week or two before the NBA draft. I've been looking. I mean, I'm pretty sure a couple months ago there was one random mock with Dillingham going to Portland. Really? They need another guard? Usually these mock drafts are written by a dude that's got a source from one team, and then it's just guessing what the other 29 teams are doing.
Well, I think a lot of these mock people... what happened there?
Whoa. Oh,
that was my fault. I turned your mic off instead of mine.
No, you're going to fade it out there for a
I've
moment.
had a hell of a morning. I was like, I didn't even touch anything.
Your microphone just short-circuited.
Schultz is no.
Jody's shutting your microphone off, dude. You're out here poo-pooing mocks.
No, but I'm not poo-pooing mocks. I like mocks. It's Monday. The draft is Wednesday. You're giving me a mock now. That mock right there is no different than what they had the Blazers doing in the last mock that they did.
No, does that add more weight to it? No changes in the mock.
Well, no, because they preface both those picks of if he's here, and it's okay, cool. Well, you don't even know who's there. My thing on the mocks they are valuable. I thought Ryan Russillo made a really interesting thing or a comment, and he cited Neil O'Shea in this. If mocks didn't exist, how different would the draft be, right? It's kind of like not having preseason college football rankings. How would you rank the teams if us, the media, didn't put stupid little numbers next to their name? Now, you'd probably naturally rank the Alabamas, Ohio States, whatever. But if you didn't, how differently or how difficult would it be? Now, it's not that front offices rely on media members to do mocks to make their picks. But Danny, I thought, made a good point on this on our pod of, would Chicago have made the Caruso for Giddey trade straight up with no picks involved if they saw the reaction? Or do they go, we better get at least 2 seconds.
You get something, yeah.
We should get a first. There should be
a pick swap.
There should be
something.
Picks involved in this draft in some capacity. They probably would do that. I think you could say something similar. And Neil O'Shea told this to Russillo years ago when he was with Portland, that if you didn't do mock drafts, the draft would look drastically different than how the mock drafters have drafts going.
That's wild.
So again, I'm not suggesting that these GMs and these front offices are not doing their due diligence, but it's just simply in a way, it's a way to make us feel something about entities we know nothing about.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
And also, if you necessarily aren't the highest on a player, but everybody, fan, media included, are all in on the player, and you bypass that player, you're going to get crapped on. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you're in charge. You should make the decisions that you feel are right for the franchise. Don't go based on the direction of public opinion.
Right.
We're idiots.
But also the Cavs did that with Anthony Bennett. How'd that go?
Yeah.
They got crapped on, and they ended up being rightfully so. So it's just an interesting thing that he said a couple weeks ago that Olshey told him years ago, like mocks didn't exist. The boards would look drastically different.
That's just crazy that there's front offices that are looking at that and wondering, like, is there pressure on us to take this guy? Was projected to be a top 10 pick, and we're here at 12, so we got to take him here. Like, that's just wild. That's the way they operate.
It is wild, but doesn't the NFL also operate under this way? Are all these quarterbacks deserving of being picked in the first round with the first pick of a team's draft?
I feel like that's a little bit different just because of the importance of that position and needing that position to win. Like, you're always going to get teams to reach for guys. But, like, how many mocks had Michael Penix going 8 to Atlanta? Not that there won't be surprises in the NBA draft or we haven't had that, but I feel like the NFL will still throw us like, wait, what?
Sure, there are curveballs. There's going to be curveballs in this draft.
And, yeah, there might be on Wednesday night, too. Yeah.
It wasn't a point of saying the media is making the picks. It's simply like, the mocks exist
They
for
dictate
a reason.
the conversation around it.
They create narrative, right? And some narratives are good and some narratives are bad. The narrative right now with your Portland Trailblazers coming off of hiring 2 assistants, Donovan Clingan seems to be at or near or tied at the very top of their draft board.
I was reading the Woj tweet about Portland's assistant coaches, and the third response on there was from somebody just simply tweeting, "Damn, I forgot about them." That's where we're at, baby. That's where we're at.